late summer 2023, Gotchi Chain will be going live with a plethora of new gaming experiences, dApps, all centered around Aavegotchi assets and NFTs.
Welcome back to our Meet a Builder interview series, where I have the pleasure of talking to the teams behind your favorite Web3 earning projects. Today, we'll be getting a glimpse behind the scenes of Aavegotchi, an innovative NFT gaming protocol that is taking the blockchain world by storm. Under the hood, Aavegotchi is an open source, community-owned protocol that enables total asset ownership for gamers in true Web3 fashion. With its 100% on-chain assets, DAO governance, trustless NFT lending, decentralized marketplace, and bid-to-earn options, Aavegotchi has attracted a vibrant and passionate community of players and developers who are exploring new ways to interact with DeFi and NFTs through gamification. We're excited to have the opportunity to talk to Jesse from the Aavegotchi team today and learn more about the game's vision, mechanics, and future plans. Jesse, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Can you start by giving us a brief explanation as to what Aavegotchi is and an understanding into the gameplay?
Sure. So Aavegotchis they were ideated as this open source avatar where anyone can own their own gotchi, bring it to life, nurture it. If you're familiar with where we kind of give the hat tip, the Tamagotchis of the 90s,
yes,
of a crypto pet. And so Aavegotchi has been around a while, 2.5 years and counting. And, our focus was let's make a better crypto pet was the very central premise at the start. And so we baked in a lot of dynamic on-chain data, which especially 2.5 years ago was not a thing. Even now it's quite rare. And so we are quite proud of kind of leading the way on what you can do with dynamic data for your NFTs. And what I mean by that in a practical sense is we have something called kinship, and you actually pet your Aavegotchi every day with an on-chain transaction. And that kinship score is stored on chain and it moves up or down in accordance with how often you take care of your Aavegotchi. So it's kind of proof of attention to your favorite NFT, as opposed to maybe some other crypto NFTs you have and they just sit in your wallet and you don't really interact with them or take them out very much. So the Aavegotchi in and of itself is a game. Kind of the intrinsic game is taking care of it, naming it, dressing it, doing all of these things. And then the extrinsic is using it as an avatar for open source gaming. And that's where the Gotchiverse comes in. We've been live with the Gotchiverse almost for a year now. And the Aavegotchi DAO, which is one of the most active DAOs in the world, where we're literally building a game together. So if you've ever dreamed of being a game developer, we attract a lot of talented, very smart individuals who want to contribute time and energy to creating Aavegotchi themed games.
I love it. It's as someone who was obsessed with Tamagotchis and is also a blockchain fanatic, I really love what you guys are doing. It's so exciting. Can you give us some ways that people can earn with Aavegotchi?
Yeah, there's many ways. One of them is the kinship. So if you take care of your Aavegotchi will take care of you. That's what we've always said. And so these digital pets actually, we do this in a number of ways. We've funded this through what we call the Circle of Win. From the very start, we want a very fair, equitable NFT sale. And so a very large percent, somewhere around 35% of all of the NFT drops 2 years ago, all of that went into a rewards pool that funds interacting with your pets. So it's basically like you bought the Aavegotchi up front, it's your pet. If you actually take care of it, you're going to climb these leaderboards that track your on-chain metadata across 3 different spectrums, and the funds return to you. And so it's kind of a fun way to say, look, you've got your collectible, whatever happens in the market with that, that's one thing. But no matter what, it's always returning things and giving you love back in an on-chain way. And so just taking care of your Aavegotchi is the first way. The other way is with the Gotchiverse. We do have, other than our governance token, GHST, there's also the everything's on chain to the extent possible that we can do with the Gotchiverse. So this is a metaverse social world for your Aavegotchi avatars. And there is a farming element where you actually take care of your plot of land. And I believe this was the first of its kind where there's 4 tokens collectively called Alchemica. And these magical tokens are the kind of DNA of the whole Gotchiverse. And if you collect these, you can use them to craft new NFTs. So you put them together in a recipe book and you actually make, we just mint the NFT, you craft it at your crafting table. And so, yeah, you can collect those by simply showing up and playing in the world. We have another thing we love to say is we're trying to make it so you play with your crypto. And I don't think enough of the Web3 games do this. They're always trying to make you feel like Web2. And what we do differently is when you enter the Gotchiverse, you know you're in a crypto game. Like there's very little question. It has a whole different aesthetic. And then when you start hanging out at a social event and you see a super chat and it says, maybe Jesse dropped 1,000 FOMO tokens. This is one of the 4 Alchemica. They literally are like the reverse of Pac-Man. They're like popular, dropping on the ground all around you. And it just really gives you a great metaverse party feel that most metaverses fail at, where it's kind of stuffy and boring. Here, people are running around literally tipping each other. We're doing super chat and literally throwing crypto at each other. And I don't know anywhere else you can go and do this. And you'd be surprised. People are very generous in the Gotchiverse. And so we're throwing these on-chain assets all around the map at each other and just having a good time. Every weekend we do a kind of get together and make that a reality. So yeah, that's a couple of the ways.
I love it. I love the social aspect, and then bring in the Web3 part of it. Yeah, you guys are doing some very interesting stuff. And finally, what's some latest development within the Aavegotchi ecosystem, and how will that impact players' ability to earn rewards within the Web3 space?
Sure. So 2023 has been a huge year for us already, and we're just exiting Q1. And a lot happened in that first quarter. First, we closed the bonding curve, which I wish I could talk more about, but it's basically our on-chain Kickstarter that started all of this back in the summer of 2020. And it was basically a liquidity pool, an AMM, where Ghost GHST token would be minted if people put in the DAI stablecoin. And we called this one, our DAO was very aware after some of the black swans of late last year. We said, our whole ecosystem is kind of built on top of MakerDAO and the DAI token, and we love them, but we're at a point now, our DAO is 2.5 years into maturity. We have our own infrastructure. Why are we still relying on DAI? We literally have like a governance token partially backed by DAI tokens, which is pretty cool. But we said, maybe that's not the way forward. We need to think bigger. And so we started a 3 to 4 month process to close the curve. And that took all the DAI that was there as just liquidity and transformed that into treasury for the DAO. So we basically concluded, in effect, a token sale, and also remove the risk of being reliant on MakerDAO. So now the token is free floating. The treasury is filled to the tune of, I think, about $33 million worth of DAI. And what that does is it really unlocks the ability for our community to go to the next level. And the next level is Gotchi Chain. So we are one of the we are the earliest adopter of like major NFT to bridge over to Polygon. We're very close with the Polygon leadership team, and we were approached early on about their SuperNet program, which is basically a layer 3. It's like an app specific chain, a permission chain dedicated to whatever program you're doing. And in our case, it's all things Aavegotchi. So Gotchi Chain will be one of the first SuperNets to go live. And it's going to be almost like, my metaphor is like a video game console launching, like a new PlayStation, a new Nintendo console. Late summer 2023, Gotchi Chain will be going live with a plethora of new gaming experiences, dApps, all centered around Aavegotchi assets and NFTs. So we are super excited about what that means. North of 2,000 transactions per second. No more downtime, no more fighting for bandwidth with other games or whatever chain, and just a much better UX where we can start shifting our attention more towards mainstream gaming. We were at GDC this year, and just looking at all the options for onboarding in a big way, where all that friction is kind of eliminated and people can just enjoy Aavegotchis for what they are. And so that's where we're going this year.
That is extremely exciting. Gotchi Chain, watch this space. I think that's going to really take you guys to the next level. I'm sure your whole community is jumping at the seams for that one. Thank you so much, Jesse, for joining me today. It's been wonderful to have you on and hear about what's going on in the world of Aavegotchi, and how people can get involved in your plans for the future. Thank you to all those that have Yeah, thank you to all those that have joined in, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, Sarah.